Hey, Alan here. Thanks for joining me for another one of my quick edit videos. Today we're going to be looking at a picture from a recent model shoot that was taken at sunset. The image as taken is a bit flat and underexposed, so we're going to use Lightroom to see if we can make it better. If you'd like to edit along with me, pause the video now and head over to my website www.alanlloyd.uk, where you can find out about supporting me and downloading the raw file for this exact image. If you'd like to watch me edit more pictures in Adobe Lightroom Classic, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so YouTube notifies you next time I upload a video. So come on, let's dive into Lightroom and get started.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Okay, this is the picture we're going to have a look at today. As you can see, it came out slightly flat and a bit underexposed, but I thought it was a nice picture, so we're going to see whether we can improve it in Lightroom. First thing I'm going to do is scroll down to the bottom, as we always do, and remove chromatic aberration and enable profile correction. That'll take care of the lens distortion. And now we're going to add a little bit of noise reduction on a darker picture. I think you might need to add more than 20. I'm going to start with 25 and see how we go. We can always come back and add more if we need to. Then we can head up to the main panel. Right, now the first thing is decide on the crop and make sure your image is straight. When the horizon isn't straight, it's slightly difficult to judge where a straight line should be, but I'm going to try that, and that I think looks pretty good. Now, if I was editing this to publish it on my website or in a photo book, I would take it into Photoshop and do skin softening and blemish removal if needed and things like that. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to skip that, pretend it's been done, and just do the Lightroom edit. So the first thing I do now is bring the highlights down to bring out that sky, and I bring the shadows up. And I'm going to hold the shift key down, double click on the whites and double click on the blacks. And that'll set them to where Lightroom thinks is best. You don't have to leave them there. I'm going to bring the highlights down a bit more. I'm going to bring the exposure down just a touch. I don't mind it being slightly darker on the model than usual. Now I'm going to use the adjustment brush to brush on some texture and some clarity, because I don't want to go over the model's skin with it, but I do want to cover most of the rest of the picture. So I'm going to use the mask and just turn it off so we can see what effect it's having. Yeah, that is having the desired effect. So I'll turn the mask back on now. Using the mask allows you to see a lot easier where the effect's going. You can spend a lot more time on your edit than I am now. This is just a quick edit so I can show you how I would do it. Again, if I was doing this one to be published, I would be taking a lot more care around these edges than I am now. Turn the mask off. That looks pretty good. Okay, I can increase the saturation on this mask as well. Bring out the colors there. Okay, then I'm going to, without leaving the panel, I'm going to double click new, and this will allow me to create a newer one where I'm going to go shadows, shadows up, and I'm going to use this one over the model herself.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill.
This will just again, you can take a lot more care than I am. I'm not even zooming in here. There we go. Check the mask. That should be good enough. The highlights up a little bit as well. And I'm going to bring the clarity down a bit, which will compensate for the skin softening that we would have done in Lightroom, in Photoshop. So I click on done and come out of there. Now I've got those two presets. Now obviously that's lightened the picture a lot and I didn't really want it this light. So now what I can do is either drop the shadows or I can reduce the exposure even more. I only need to do it a little bit. I can hold down the shift key and double click on the whites again and double click on the blacks to make sure they haven't changed too much. And now I'm going to increase the vibrance and increase the saturation a touch. Not too much of the saturation because there are skin tones in there and saturation will boost the skin tones, whereas vibrance will boost everything but the skin tones. Add some contrast in. Yep, I'm going to reduce the saturation back to 0. There we go. Now on a sunset picture like this, you could even add a split tone to warm the picture up, which definitely brings out the different colours. But again, it does affect skin tones on your model, so it's not always something you want to consider.
This is not a drill.
I think I'm going to go for a lighter one there.
Repeat.
Maybe a little bit more contrast. Just tweak the temperature just a little bit.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin.
And vignette around the outside. Just to reduce that a little bit there. But I think that is how I would leave that picture. And you'll see the before and after in a moment. We've made a big difference. If you like the picture or the video, please consider hitting the like button or the share button. And if you want to see more of my edits, hit the subscribe and ring the bell. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.
Oh, for sure.